Birth rates in the world, and especially in the United States of America, have gone down considerably year after year after year, especially with the introduction of birth control and with the introduction of embryo removal, if you will. And yeah, this year wasn't any different. Fertility rates as a whole have become a huge problem in the world. Now, in other countries, they're actually trying to incentivize women to have babies because they see the writing on the wall, right? In the coming decades, their community, their race will become less and less and less until it will be, watered down and saturated with other races, much like in America, and especially in the Black community and other places in the Caucasian community. There's a lot of race mixing and things like that. So the purest of your race, regardless of race, so I'm talking about Asians, Black Americans, or Africans, Caucasians, whatever you want to call it, right? Everybody's race is pretty much being diluted. And I think that's another reason why America, a few years ago advocated for this immigrant thing so much, but that's another story, all right? But in any case, because of, embryo removal being at an all-time high, because of, birth control being used at, extreme rates, because of women's empowerment and, the suppression of men in general, their rights and privileges, things like that.
I know the power of patriarchy.
This rate is going to continue to drop year after year after year past 2024 and 2025, all right? And nobody's incentivizing this in America, so you can forget that. In America, they are championing women being able to make these decisions on their own, okay? And so, again, the embryo removal places, aka Planned Parenthood, will continue to get good business. The Plan Bs and all the birth control companies will continue to thrive. And because of that, well, your race or your community will continue to dwindle and dwindle. The Black community is ground zero for this, but again, that's another story.
Racism.
Yeah. Oh, he said it right there.
So as you can see here from NBC News, the U.S. fertility rate reached a new low in 2024, the CDC data shows. Yes. Again, here's another issue. People are marrying later and also worried about their ability to have the money.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Health and insurance and other resources needed to raise children in a stable environment. Yes, women are pushing off motherhood later and later. It's not happening in the 20s no more, and maybe even in the early teens like it was decades ago. Now women are pushing this stuff off into the 30s and 40s. They're freezing eggs, and we hear all kind of horror stories about women not having viable eggs after they unfreeze them because of, nature, right? You can't freeze something and then unfreeze and expect it to be good. These eggs are catching freezer burn. You know what I mean? So in any case, let's read the numbers of the latest statistics on the low fertility rates of this past year. And it's only going to get worse. All right. So let's dig into the statistics. By the Associated Press, the fertility rate in the U.S. dropped to an all-time low in 2024 with less than 1.6 kids per woman. New federal data released Thursday shows. Can I get a failure? Enemy spotted. Let's go with the enemy. Now, 1.6 kids per person. So that means they're having less than one child per woman. So you know how many actually childless women there are out there? And again, like a story I did a few days ago, some women are choosing single motherhood. Some women are choosing to remain childless. So, and they're doing this almost to spite the world, to spite men in general. And so again, like I said, this is not going away. The U.S. was once among the only few developed countries with a rate that ensured each generation had enough children to replace itself. About 2.1 kids per woman. But it all has been sliding in America for close to 2 decades as more women are waiting longer to have children or never taking that step at all. Yes, here's another thing. This statistic also hurts the economy because there's not enough children to replace the adults. And guess what? The tax base is getting less and less, which means they got to pull more money from the people that's already there, or they have to cut from government programs, or what do they put that? They had to pull from other government programs to try to keep the economy afloat, because the children or the people that are in society, they're not working. And so this is a cascading effect on not only the replacement rate for the society in general, but how the society is going to uphold itself. If you've made it this far in the video and you're still here, thank you again for your viewership. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, that way you can be notified whenever I go live or drop new content. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, please do so by hitting the Cash App $ Mr. Normie. And you can also go to my Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/workingmanmg. Also, I'm trying to build a community on Locals. So if you would, go please check out my Locals page, and you can join for just $5 a month. You can post, and we can build a community of like-minded working men over there. Thank you for your time. Now back to the video. The new statistic is on par with fertility rates in Western European countries, according to World Bank data. Alarmed by recent drops, the Trump administration has taken steps to increase falling birth rates, like issuing an executive order meant to expand access and to reduce costs of vitro fertilization, and backing the idea of baby bonuses that might encourage more couples to have children. Now, even places like China and South Korea and other, Asian countries, they're actually doing the same thing. They're trying to have incentives for women to have children, because they also see this being a big problem, which it is pretty much worldwide. But there's no reason to be alarmed, according to Leslie Root at University of Colorado Boulder. Research focused on fertility and population policy. There's no reason to be alarmed, huh? Okay, let's see the logic here. Leslie Root, that is definitely a woman, so let's see their logic. Quote, "We're seeing this as part of an ongoing process of fertility delay. We know that the U.S. population is still growing, and we still have a natural increase, more births than deaths," she said. Okay, what? An ongoing process of fertility delay. We know that the U.S. population is still growing. How? See, this is disingenuous, because the population is still growing, but it's not growing by births. It's actually growing by immigration. Okay, so yes, there's more people in the United States as it is before by numbers, right? But if we break this down by births and, people passing away, is it really growing, or are we just inserting more people in the country, which is making it seem like the population is growing, and which it is if you look at it in black and white. But you dig into the statistics, I don't think it's really that so. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention released the statistics for the total fertility rate with updated birth data for 2024. In the early 1960s, the total U.S. fertility rate was around 3.5, but plummeted to 1.7 in 1976 after the baby boom ended. It gradually rose to 2.1 in 2007 before falling again, aside from a 2014 uptick. The rate in 2003 was 1.62 and inched down in 2024 to 1.599, according to the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. So like you said here, in 1960, it was 3.5. In 2024, it's 1.5. So it's gradually gone down year by year by year from the 60s to now 2024. I mean, this is not good. The birth rates are generally declining for women in most age groups, and that doesn't seem likely to change in the near future, said Karen Guzzo, director of the Carolina Population Center at University of North Carolina. People are marrying later and also worried about their ability to have the money, health insurance, and other resources needed to raise children in a stable environment. Now, while I agree that is something to be worried about, overall that's hurting us. If maybe we do need some kind of bonus, maybe we do need some kind of incentive for the women to have children, or in general for marriages and all those other kind of things. But right now, this is a problem in the United States of America. It's not going to get any better. This is a problem around the world. And again, this is going to cause the races to be already more diluted than they are. It's going to cause a lot of societies and economies to tank because there's not enough people to sustain the economy. The elderly people are going to end up passing away. The younger people don't want to get jobs. We got automation and all these other kind of things that's contributing to the economy collapsing. If we don't have more people, we don't have more babies, we're going to see a lot of societies going into the dirt. Ours especially, the United States of America, our once great nation, will cease to exist in the coming years. No, maybe not in the near future, but it's on the horizon if we don't start having more children. But that's just my take, and let me know what y'all think. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Douglas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about all of this data about the fertility rates getting lower and lower and lower every single year. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on your way out of the door. And America, listen up. Reality checks are free. See you next time.